Good evening, and welcome to the daily reflection from Salisbury Cathedral for Monday, the 12th of April. I'm Canon Nigel Davies, the Vicar of the Close. It's been a week since we've had these reflections, and as I'm the first on, I thought, well, I must think of something that will wow the viewers. Unfortunately, I got stuck with a Rolling Stones song, "You Can't Always Get What You Want," and this kept running round my head all the time I was trying to think of something to say. Seemed like a good idea at the time, but then events overtook us, and sadly the Duke of Edinburgh died, and although I thought it might be good to reflect upon him and give place to the Rolling Stones, the two somehow seemed to fuse together. And certainly as I read about the Duke of Edinburgh and his life, and a lot of that was available online and in various other television programs, I came to realize, or I fooled myself to think, that it was possible to marry the two together, the Rolling Stones lyric and the life of the Duke of Edinburgh. And so I read about him and discovered some interesting facts, as I'm sure many people have done. Apparently, he wanted originally to join the RAF when it was his time for military service. And it was the intervention of his uncle Louis Mountbatten that changed his mind and persuaded him to join and continue the long family's tradition of being in the Navy. He had a very successful wartime career, and yet he had met Princess Elizabeth and he fell in love with her and married her. He was then able to have his own command, but then events overtook him and he found himself having to support Princess Elizabeth as she took on more royal duties as her father's health declined. And he said this: "At that time, I had not thought that was going to be the end of a sort of naval career. It sort of crept upon me, and it became more and more obvious that I could not go back to it. But it's no good regretting things. It simply didn't happen, and I've been doing other things instead." A rather understated statement. He became the consort to the Queen, and as such, he was not quite his own man. And yet he became a wonderfully supportive husband and father. It seemed to be an ancillary role, but as we know from what the Queen has said, he was her rock. I suppose what I'm trying to say is that he didn't seem to get what he wanted. He could, and I suppose he did want to continue his career as a naval officer, and who knows where that would have gone. But although he didn't get what he wanted, perhaps it's better to say that what he wanted changed because of his love and commitment to the Queen and his role as her husband. So that's the connection I was tentatively making between the Duke of Edinburgh and the Rolling Stones lyric. But the tune wouldn't go away. And so I'll change tack and go in the direction which I thought this reflection would go. In political life, there seems to be a disconnect between what the electorate wants and often what it gets. Every 4 years or so, we are offered an opportunity to elect a new party, a group of politicians. They tell us lots of wonderful things about all that they're going to do, except once they are in power, they have secured their position. The promises that they seem to make, the aspirations that the electorate has and had, seem to be ignored. I'm sure we can come up with a list of many things that we will probably want our government to deliver upon: an end to poverty, people having proper jobs, decent, affordable homes, a good educational opportunity for everyone. We need to see tackling of climate change, countries working together, not fighting each other, a sharing of the world's resources. The list, I'm sure, could seem endless. These are important aspirations. They are important things that people want. But sadly, as we know, governments around the world tend not to deliver on their promises. Often they ignore, once in power, the desires and aspirations of those who they should be seeking to serve. Their own agenda asserts itself. It would take too much effort. It would be too costly. It's not really in the best interests of everybody. Strange how we are prevented from getting the things we want by the people who we thought we'd elected to give us what we want. We are told that politics is the art of the possible. Getting everything we want is impossible. And often we have to compromise in order to get anything we want at all. Obviously, refusing to compromise means we get nothing whatsoever. But compromising on the wrong things leaves folk feeling disillusioned. For the Duke of Edinburgh, his love for Princess Elizabeth meant that he had to change. He was prepared to accept a different life, to which he brought an attitude of self-effacing service and dedication. He didn't compromise his core beliefs and values. Perhaps in these times, when many have become disillusioned with politics and those in public life, we need people who model themselves on Philip, Duke of Edinburgh. Then we may well get what we want. I wonder. I trust you have a pleasant evening and thank you for watching. Bye-bye.